Hello, ma'am. Hello, classmate. My name is Marivia C. Acido, and my topics are blood, components of bloods, red blood cell, and hemoglobin. Blood. Blood is the river of life, and also transportation via blood is the only way substances can be moved to distant body location. In addition, clotting proteins are found only in blood. It is the only fluid tissue in the body. Its function is to transport of gases, nutrients, and waste product, transport of processed molecules, transport of regular molecules, and maintain the body temperature and protect against foreign substances. Also, it participates in processes such as clothing and fighting infection. Blood is moved through the blood vessel by the pumping of action of the heart. This fluid contains red blood cells to carry oxygen, clotting proteins to stop bleeding, and white blood cells to fight infections. Blood is conducted through blood vessels. It is the arteries and veins. Blood is prevented from clotting in the blood vessel by their smoothness and the finely tuned balance of clotting factors. Blood is essential to life. Blood circulates through our body and delivers essential substances like oxygen and nutrients to the body cells. It also transports metabolic waste product away from the same cells. There is no substitute for blood. It cannot be made or manufactured. Generous blood donor are only source of blood for patient is need of a blood transfusion. Blood is a circulating tissue composed of fluid, plasma, and cell. The cellular components of blood are erythrocyte or red blood cells or RBCS, leukocytes, white blood cells or WBCS, and thrombocytes, the platelets. By volume, the RBCs constitute about 45% of whole blood and plasma about 54.3% and the white blood cells about 0.7%. Platelets make up less than 1%, although it contains of cells suspended in fluid. Blood is still considered a tissue as it technically a type of extracellular matrix. Blood enable transport of cells and molecules between parts of the body. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, and glucose are among the most vital molecules transport in blood. Blood cells are essential for normal metabolic and immune system. Components of blood. There are four components of blood. It is the plasma, white blood cell, red blood cell, and the platelets. The the different component that make blood, it is the plasma, white blood cell, red blood cells, and platelets. Plasma, it is the main components of blood and consists mostly of water with protein, ions, nutrients, and waste mixed in. Plasma is the largest part of your blood. It make up more than half. It is 55% of its overall content. The main role of plasma is to make nutrients, hormones, and protein to the parts of the body that need it. Cells also put their waste product in the plasma. The plasma then help remove the waste from the body. Blood plasma carries all the part of blood through your circulatory system. Next, the white blood cell. White blood cells, also called leukocytes, play an important role in the body immune system immune response by identifying and targeting pathogens. White blood cells, also called leukocytes. Leuco means white, make up approximately 1% by volume of the cell in the body. The role of white blood cell is very important and very different from that of red blood cell. They are primarily involved in the immune response to identify and targeting pathogens such as invading bacteria, viruses, and other foreign organisms. White blood cells are formed continually. Some live only for an hour or days, while some lived for years. There are types of white blood cells. It's the granulocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Neutrophils, it's kill bacteria, fungi, and foreign debris. Monocytes, clean up damaged cells. Eosinophil, kill parasites, cancer cells, and involved in allergic response. Lymphocytes have fight viruses and make antibodies, and basophils, it's involved in allergic responses. Next component, it is the red blood cell or erythrocytes. Red blood cells are or erythrocytes. Erythro means red and cytes means cell. That's why it's called red blood cell. Specialized cells are circulate through the body, delivering oxygen to other cells. Are formed from stem cells in the bone marrow. Red blood cells represent 40% of your body volume. They are generated from your bone marrow at the rate of 4 to 5 billion per hour. They have life cycle about 120 days in the body. The red coloring of blood comes from the iron containing protein hemoglobin. The principal job of this protein is to carry oxygen, but it transports carbon dioxide as well. Hemoglobin is packed in the red blood cell at a rate of about 120 million molecules of hemoglobin per cell. Each hemoglobin molecule binds for oxygen molecule so that each red blood cell carry 1 billion molecules of oxygen. There are approximately 25 trillion red blood cells in the 5 liters of blood in the human body, which could carry up to 25 sextillion or 25 times 1021 molecules of the oxygen at any times. Next, the platelets. Platelets are formed from large cells called megakaryocytes. The megakaryocyte break up in the thousands of fragments that become platelets. Platelets are required for clotting of the blood. The platelets collect at the wound site in conjunction with other clotting factors such as fibrinogen to form a fibrin cloth that prevent blood loss and allow the wound to heal. Platelets are coagulation factors, are instrument in pluging damaged blood vessel wall and stopping blood loss. Platelets are amazing part of your body. Platelets are the smallest of all blood cells and literally look like a small plate in their non-active form. Platelets control bleeding. Whatever or a wound occur, the blood vessel will send out a signal. Platelet receive the signal and travel to the area and transform in their active formation, growing long tentacles to make contact with the vessel and form cluster to plunge the wound until it helps. And my main topic is the red blood cell. Red blood cell, it is the erythrocyte, or the main function is to carry oxygen. The red blood cells differ from the other blood cells. Annulate or no nucleus. It contains few organelles and lack of mitochondria. Essentials bag of hemoglobin, shaped like a biconcave disc. Normal count is 5,000 million RBCs per cubic millimeter of blood. And hemoglobin is an iron-bearing protein, binds oxygen. Each hemoglobin molecule can bind 4 oxygen molecules. Each erythrocyte has 250 million hemoglobin molecules. Normal blood contains 1 to 8 g of hemoglobin per 1,000 millimeters or ml of blood. Homeostatic imbalance of RBCs are anemia is a decrease in the oxygen carrying ability of blood due to lower than normal of red blood cell. Abnormal or deficient hemoglobin contained in the RBCs is sickle cell anemia. Result for abnormally shaped hemoglobin. Since RBCs are annulate, annucleate, they are unable to divide, grow, or synthesize proteins. RBCs wear out in 100 to 120 days. When worn out, RBCs are eliminated by phagocytes in the spleen or liver. Lost cells are replaced by division of hematoblast in the red bone marrow. The membranes or outer layer of RBC is flexible, like a soap bubble, and is able to bend in many directions without breaking. It is important because the red blood cells must be able to pass through thinnest blood vessel or the capillaries to deliver oxygen wherever it is needed. The capillaries are so narrow that the RBC is normally shaped like a disc with a concave top and bottom, which bend and twist to maneuver single file through them. Red blood cell is the number of erythrocytes per microliter of blood. Erythrocytes count increase in blood to polycythemia or decrease in anemia. Ito yung normal range ng blood ng isang lalaki, babae at ng batang kakapanganak pa lang. Red blood cells are composed predominantly of a protein and iron compound called hemoglobin that capture oxygen molecule as the blood moves through the lungs, giving back its red color. As a as blood passes through body tissue, hemoglobin then release the oxygen to cells throughout body. Red blood cells are so packed with hemoglobin and they lack many components including nucleus found in cell. Next, the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein molecules in red blood cells, carries oxygen from the lungs through the body tissue and return carbon dioxide from the tissue back to the lungs. Hemoglobin also play an important role in maintaining shape of red blood cell. In natural shape, red blood cells are round with narrow center resembling a donut without a hole in the middle. Abnormal abnormal hemoglobin structure can therefore disrupt the shape of red blood cell and impede their function and flow through blood vessel. Hemoglobin is a shape of four protein molecules, the globulin, uh, globulin, globulin chains that are connected together. The normal adult hemoglobin are abbreviated AGB or HB. Molecule contain two alpha globulin chain and two beta globulin chain. In fetuses and infants, beta chains are not common, and the hemoglobin molecule is made up of two alpha chains and two gamma chains. As the infant grows, the gamma chains are gradually replaced by beta chains and forming the adult hemoglobin structure. structure. The summary of this report is that your blood is made up of liquid and solids. The liquid part called plasma is made of water, salt, and proteins. Over half of your blood is plasma. The solid part of your blood contains red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelets. Red blood cells deliver oxygen from their lungs to your tissues and organs, while white blood cells fight infection are part of the immune system. Platelets help blood to clot when you have a cut or wound. Bone marrow, the spongy materials inside your bones, makes new blood cells. Blood cells continually die and your body makes a new one. Red blood cell live about 120 days and platelets live about 6 days. Some white blood cell live less than a day but other much live longer. The four blood types is AB or O. Also, blood is either RH positive or RH negative. So if you have type A blood, it's either positive or negative, which they are so there are type of blood you are important if you have a blood transfusion. And RH factor could be important if you become pregnant and incompatibility between your type and the body could create problems. Blood tests such as count test help doctor check for certain diseases and condition. They also help check the function of your organ and show how well treatments are working. Problem with your blood may include bleeding disorder, excessive clotting, and platelet disorder. If you lost too much blood, you can need transfusion. And also, blood is essential to life, and blood circulate through your body and deliver essential substances. Like I said, the oxygen and nutrients of the body's cells. It also transport metabolic waste production or product away from those same cell. There is no substitute for blood. It cannot be it cannot be made or manufactured. Generously, blood donor are only source of blood for patient. That's all my report. Thank you.